Okay. All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'll call the public hearing to order, and I have a statement to read out. This council meeting is being convened in order to hold public hearings on land use matters. The public and anyone who believes their interest in property is affected by the agenda items may speak or present written submissions to council. Everyone will be given a reasonable opportunity to be heard at this hearing. No one should feel discouraged. Someone's not on mute. As long as it's okay. Sounds okay. Okay. Where was I? And no one should feel discouraged from making their views known. By order of the provincial health officers, members of the public are not permitted to physically attend public hearings. As an alternative, the public has the opportunity to provide written comments or to participate in this hearing remotely by electronic means or telephone. Those of you who have registered with the city clerk should, after being recognized by the chair, begin by clearly stating your name and your address. If you have also provided a written submission, please make this known at the beginning of your presentation. All written submissions will be retained by the city clerk and will form part of the record of the hearing. Each speaker may address the hearing a maximum of twice. The length of your first presentation will be limited to a maximum of 10 minutes. Your comments must be relevant and not obstruct the hearing. Any additional presentation which must be on new information will be limited to 3 minutes. Members of council may ask questions of you following your presentation. However, the function of council members during a public hearing is to listen to the views of the public, not to debate the merits of the matters with citizens. Any debate by members of council will occur at the subsequent vote. The order of proceeding for each item will normally be as follows. Firstly, the city clerk will briefly describe the matter under consideration. Then the applicant or their agent will be invited to make a brief presentation of up to 10 minutes. Thirdly, the city clerk will identify any written submissions received. Then oral submissions from the public will be heard, and further written submissions, if any, will be received. And finally, the hearing will be closed and matters may be considered. So please observe these rules. If you have any concerns with the manner in which the hearing is conducted, direct your comments to the chair. So, Madam Clerk, first item.
Thank you, Your Worship. Item 1 is zoning amendment bylaw 10273 for the location of 6700 Francis Road. The applicant is Doxa Development, and the purpose is to rezone the subject property from the single detached RS1E zone to a new site-specific 2-unit dwelling zone to permit the property to be subdivided to create 2 duplex lots with vehicle access from Francis Road. First reading was on June 14th, 2021.
All right, now my notes say that we've got 3 delegations. They must be, I assume they are the applicants or affiliated with the applicants, and they're just available for questions. We have Jesse Pu, Jiang Zhu, and Christine Ma. Now, do any of those want to make a presentation? If you can make it known. All right. I take it that they are the applicants. Do we have any written submissions?
None, Your Worship.
All right. Are there, let's see now, we don't have any submissions from the floor because nobody's registered.
Move second and third.
No, just before I get a motion, we do have a hand that's up. So just hold on tight. Councillor Day.
Thank you very much, Mayor Brody. I won't be supporting this application at 6700 Francis, which divides the lot into 4 houses with 1 vehicular access to Francis, because the next item, item 2 on the agenda, is right next door, and had this been combined, we could have had townhouses in this development, which would have excuse me, limited it to just 1 access. This is a good example of developers not working together, and I know staff, I give them kudos, they did everything they could on this one, but I can't support a vehicular courtyard that's going to have 8 cars and 1 visitor parking. It's just too crowded, and it doesn't work for me.
All right, so someone was making a motion?
Move second and third.
Move second and third. Any further discussion? Staying on. All right, I'll call the question then. All those in favor? Those opposed? This is carried with Councillors Wolf and Day opposed. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Me too, opposed.
Okay, and Counselor Steves.
Thank you, Your Worship. The next item is item 2. This is zoning amendment bylaws 10271 and 10277. The location is for 6740 and 6780 Francis Road. The applicant is Vivid Green Architecture Incorporated, and the purpose of bylaw 10271 is to create a new 2-unit dwellings Francis Road site-specific zone for duplex developments fronting and arterial. This was given first reading on June 14th. And the purpose of bylaw 10277 is to rezone the subject properties from the single detached RS1Z zone to a new site-specific 2-unit dwellings zone to permit the properties to be subdivided to create 4 duplex lots with vehicle access from Francis Road. First reading was also given on June 14th.
All right, now I've got a note of 2 delegations available for questions, but I think, first of all, that they are affiliated with the applicant. Sarah Nassab, has she signed in?
No, we only have Rosa Salcido.
Sorry?
Rosa Salcido is joining.
Right. So Sarah Nassab is not with us. Rosa Salcido, who I believe is one of the architects, is with us for any kind of questions. So we'll go to questions. Councillor Day.
Thank you very much, Mayor Brody. Once again, I won't be supporting this because this allows for 2 lots to be turned into, or 1 lot to be turned into 2 separate lots with 2 driveways. There's going to be 8 homes on this property, and there's going to be 2 driveways onto Francis. Had it been combined with the last one, or even just combined as is, it could have been a nice little townhouse unit. Instead, we're going to have really bad crowding, very limited parking, and they're so tiny they can't even have a garage. So I will not be supporting this. I think we could have done far better on this development. Nothing is better than this.
Councillor Wolf.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just to echo what Councillor Day said in the last item and this one, just to further it along, what we're getting here is a lot of non-porous surface material, a lot of driveways. We're losing on the potential for the residents in this area to have outdoor amenity space and places where replacement trees could actually grow large. But with this amount of compaction, we can forget about it. So I'll be opposed to this one too. Thanks.
All right, someone want to move it?
Move second and third on 10271.
Moved and seconded. Discussion, all those in favor? Those opposed? It's carried with Councillors Day, Steves, and Wolf opposed. And
Move second and third on 10277.
moved and seconded. All those in favor? Those opposed? Is carried with the same 3 who are opposed. That's the first one. All right, next item, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Item 3, this is Richmond zoning amendment bylaw 10265 for the location of 6500 Cooney Road. The applicant is Kenneth Kim Architecture Incorporated. The purpose is to create the parking structure town housing brick house zone and to rezone 6500 Cooney Road from low-density townhouses zone to the parking structure townhouses zone to the parking structure townhousing zone brick house zone to permit development of a 6-unit, 3-story townhouse development over a 1-story open parking structure. First reading was on June 28th.
All right. So from the applicant, I've got 4 listed on my list, but I think I've only got about 1 of them here that I can figure. Brian Chow was with us, available for questions. I think Kenneth Kim is also available for questions. And then Kevin Leo and Anthony Ho, I don't believe they are with us. So in any case, if anybody has any questions, people are here. I'm taking it from the comments that they're not looking to make a formal presentation, but just be here for questions. Any written submissions?
None, Your Worship.
All right. So, and we got nothing.
Move second and third.
Just a minute. We've got a hand that's up. Councillor Day.
Thank you very much. Through the chair to Mayor Brody, this is a really good development. This is on the corner of Cooney Road and Park, basically, and it's a garage with 3-level townhouses on top. It's really good use of the property. It allows for multiple units, and it ties into the existing developments to the east and to the north. So this is a really smart development.
All right, I'll ask for council consideration. Resolution.
Move second, third.
Moved and seconded. Further comments? All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. And item number 4, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. This is Richmond zoning amendment bylaw 10254 for the location of 9200, 9220, 9240, 9260, 9280, 9300, 9320, and 9340 Francis Road. The applicant is Zhao Architect Limited, and the purpose is to rezone the subject property from single detached RS1E to a new site-specific town housing zone to permit the development of 25 townhouse units with vehicle access from Francis Road. First reading was on June 28th.
All right, now we've got 3 delegates. So right now we're asking for any input from the applicant. The only person I've got down for the applicant is Zhu Dong Zhao. So from any of the applicants, is there any submission you want to make, or do you want to just await questions? If I don't hear from you, I'll just assume that you want to just answer questions if they come up. All right. Okay. Now, we've got no written submissions. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And now, I'll go through these one by one and tell me if you're a member of the public and you want to delegate. Jackie Howe. I see Jackie Howe is here. Did you wish?
Hi there.
Are you one of the applicants?
I'm, as an applicant, I'm not understanding what applicant means.
Sorry, you're breaking up just a little bit. Are you one of the people making the application?
No, I'm not.
So you're a member of the public?
Yes, correct.
Okay, what did you want to tell us?
So essentially, I just wanted to understand a little bit more about what this zoning application is going to look like and the future potential. And now I actually just live like 2 doors down, which is why this rezoning application is actually quite important to me, or for my family at least, my parents and I. And again, I just wanted to understand a little bit more about it, the future potential, and what kind of benefits does it really bring to the community versus the I don't want to call it the harm, but essentially the nearby houses are a bit on the older side. We're talking about, like, say, the 1950, 1968. Any sorts of demolition or any sort of building, let's say even like a truck moving along the side of the main street on Francis, it does make an impact to the whole structure, I would say. And sometimes we even feel the shakiness just from coming off the road. So I'm not exactly sure, what is the benefit versus the disadvantage that we're looking at, essentially.
All right, I'm going to ask staff to reply to that, but you can understand that is a very wide question. It's taken staff, many pages of explanation to say what this is involving. So if staff could just give us a very brief summary of the situation.
Thank you, Your Worship. If I may add a few things. So this is for a 25-unit townhouse development that also includes 3 convertible units. It is introducing a site-specific zone. The townhouses are consistent with Council's approved OCP policy for arterial road development. To answer just a couple of the delegates' questions regarding construction traffic, that will be reviewed as part of the building permit application. The applicant will be required to submit a construction traffic management plan to the satisfaction of the city. I would be happy to have staff contact Mr. be a delegate in order to provide him with additional information that he may require following this hearing.
Mr. Zhao, I think that might be best if staff contacts you and gives you that kind of detail if you haven't read it in the report. Okay? You're on mute. Mr. Zhao, you're on mute.
Yes. Yes, we follow the city's instruction. Did I answer the question, or you would repeat your question?
Okay. I'm sorry, I can't tell what you're saying.
If I may, through your worship, Mr. Zhao is the applicant. I believe the delegate that we were hearing from was a Mr. Jackie Howe.
Jackie Howe is to be a delegate. Oh, I see. We've been hearing from Zhuzhong Zhao. Yes?
Yes. Yes. I'm Xudong Zhao.
Okay. I'll take it we've heard from Mr. Zhao, and yes. So I'll ask Mr. Zhao to mute yourself. And for Jackie Howe, have we been hearing from you?
Yes, correct. That was me that was speaking.
Did you get an answer to your question?
Yes.
All right. All right. So now, I'm sorry I'm confused. But staff, which of the delegations are you going to contact? Mr. Howe, Jackie Howe?
Yes, your worship. We'll be contacting Mr. Jackie Howe.
Okay. So the next person, so that's Jackie Howe, Zhuzhong Zhao, Sunny Wenger.
Okay, Mrs. Wenger will be talking.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. We will live next to the complex at 9360 Francis. Been on the block since '89. And I would like to know a few things. First of all, Jackie Howe had a good point. Every time a big truck comes down this street, the houses shake awfully. Okay, they were all pretty well built around 1970, and we can't sustain all the big trucks going up and down. So this is just going to add to a problem with the housing now. The other thing I would like to mention is, what is the covenant in there that these units can be rented out so an owner doesn't even have to live in them? Is that not against the strata laws in Victoria, that you can only have a percentage of rentals in the unit?
All right. Let's ask staff about that. Can you comment further about the trucks and rentals?
Okay, and I also have a few other issues here. What is reconvertible units? What is that all about?
Reconvertible units. Okay, we'll find out. What else?
And the other thing is, we put up a fence. We went to Premier Fencing, the neighbor who lived there, and us shared half the price for Premier Fencing. They come along now. I don't want that fence to be taken down. I don't want the fencing that they put up so that in 2 years the wood's starting to rot and everything's hanging down.
All right. Any other items? Then we're going to go to staff.
Thank you, and through your worship to members of council and the delegate. So the covenant on title respecting rental, that is a recent initiative of council to require that as part of all new townhouse and multifamily development in the city. That covenant ultimately requires that no strata could pass a bylaw to restrict the rental of units within that complex. The convertible unit is a unit that is able to be easily converted over for people with accessibility issues. And so those units are typically providing more handrails, allow for stair lifts, and those types of measures within the development. With respect to the fencing will be reviewed through the development permit, and we can coordinate with the applicant and his team to make sure that we address how the fencing is constructed through the development permit process. With respect to construction, traffic, I believe I'd already spoken to that as part of the response to Mr. Jackie Howe. Through the building permit application and further review of that permit, they will be required to submit a construction traffic management plan to the city's transportation department for approval. That will be undertaken as part of the building permit review.
So is this development in any way or shape going to be part of City of Richmond, where you're going to have lower housing in there?
Through your worship, this is not intended to be providing affordable housing.
All right. Do you have any other questions?
Not that I can think of. It was hard to read the plans. It would have been better to look at them in person, but unfortunately, the way things are, you kind of have to have a magnifying glass to figure out everything.
Appreciate it. So that's Jackie Howe, Marcia Wenger, and Shivadan Zhao. So we'll go to questions from council. Let's see. Councillor Day.
Thank you very much, Mayor Brody. Well, this particular development gets the gold star tonight because it makes best use of the land that it sits on top of. And what I like about this one is we have 25 units and only one access to Francis. So once it's built, it's going to compact the traffic down into a smaller area. I also really like this one because there's no tandem parking. And my experience has shown that when there's tandem parking, everybody parks on the street, which is an inconvenience to the people who reside in the area. And this one has zero tandem parking, which I think is great. This bottom level townhouses that will allow for home ownership for people just starting out. There's a play area for children. And I feel that the 3 stories in the front on Francis will help shelter the back, which will only be 2 stories backing onto the homes on the other side of the fence. So I think it's a good transition that allows for more people to live in the neighborhood. The schools are not overcrowded in that area, and I think it's a good location and it's a nice plan. I think the architect's done a very good job of interfacing with the neighborhood, so I will be supporting this development.
Right. Councillor McPhail.
Thank you, Your Worship. Now, we did receive correspondence in our mail on the weekend about from someone on this application, and their concern was about excessive ground vibration during demolition, is my guess. So I'm just wondering if the developer could maybe contact the neighborhood with a plan. I'm sure they have to have a demolition plan. I'm sure there'll be notices about the demolition when it happens. Through you to staff on that?
Staff?
Thank you, and through your worship, we can certainly request and speak with the developer about further communicating with local residents surrounding this development as construction progress continues on the site.
Yeah, this correspondence was someone who lives at 9211 Francis, so across the street. Now, with regards to Francis Road itself and some of the comments about, the truck traffic. Now, Francis has become a really busy secondary arterial road. Was a traffic study needed for this application?
Through your worship, yes, a traffic study was submitted as part of this application and reviewed by our Transportation Services Department.
All right, thank you very much.
Councillor Wolf?
Thank you very much. Just a few comments and one question for the staff or perhaps the applicant. I like Councillor Day, I really would give this one the gold star of the night. I really appreciate the use of existing trees in the landscape design. And I guess my first question is about the outdoor amenity space. How did, for the benefit of all of Richmond, how do we come to a decision where to put the outdoor amenity space? In this case, was the developer's plan already with it near the driveway, or did the existing trees help to choose that location? So I'm not sure if staff know the answer to that or the applicant.
Through your worship to Councillor Wolf, in this case, the trees did play a role in the location of the outdoor amenity space. As we have mentioned a number of times, we do look at retaining good quality trees on site, and where we can, manipulate the location of amenities on site in order to accommodate retention of trees, we do look to do so.
Great, thanks. I have one follow-up through the chair to staff on that. I think the best map or image is on our page 180, 181. It's a two-page spread of the trees. And my next question is about there's a string of trees, number 320, 323, 324, 325, that are in a row that are marked to be removed. So my question is, the removal of those trees, and I know that there's a replacement strategy that will come, but my question is, when those trees are removed, will that part of the property go without heavy compaction? Like, will the fill for the houses also spill onto that area, or would that also be protected so that new trees that they are going to put on site can actually go into buffered soil? Do we know that?
Through your worship to Councillor Wolf, I can't comment on the amount of compaction that might happen in that area. However, I can add that this site will require a development permit application to be submitted to the city and thoroughly reviewed. So we will be reviewing landscape through that process. I believe as part of this rezoning application, the developer is also committed to planting 32 trees on site in compensation for those that are being removed.
Great, thank you. And then just a final comment. I think that action, if we can retain that soil, it'll give the neighborhood a relief from further compaction and potentially dying trees that they try and replace in that spot. So I think the overall saving existing trees and helping to put more along the back, where, like we heard earlier, a delegate speaking about the fence issues that will likely come up with parcels like this. So, and also great to see the hedges that were retained on these pages as well, and that it's not a blank slate approach. So really positive. Thank you very much.
All right. Someone want to move it?
Move second, third.
Moved and seconded. Further discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. Someone move adjournment.
Adjournment.
Thank you. We are now adjourned.